just gone afternoon.
We're going to go with good morning.
We've got Kerry and Victoria on the call. I'm not sure where everyone else is, but maybe they will join us in a few minutes. But Kerry, Victoria, where are you listening in from? And please share your video. You're welcome to pop your face up so we can actually have conversation. And this could be really interactive as well. So what Sharon is going to share around maximising,
very interactive.
Is something that is quite engaging. So feel free to mute and have a chat while we're going through it. And love to see your face. And if you just pop into the chat where you're calling from, and that would be awesome. I'm just going to make Paige. I'm just going to you the co-host of the.
All right.
Welcome everyone as new people are jumping in, which is great.
I think we just need to take those few minutes.
Paige the co-host as well, so you can help me. So yeah, feel free, share your video. What we're going to be talking about today is how to maximize profits while you're still scaling a business, because we understand as busy bookkeepers owners that there is that fear, I suppose, of being able to scale your business to make sure that your profit is still there as well. So welcome to today's webinar. I'm Katrina Aarsman. I'm the CEO of Pure Bookkeeping, and I did have a bookkeeping business for many years and went through all the trials and tribulations and probably made a lot of mistakes along the way as well. Always fearful of making sure that you made the profit in your business to be able to make sure it's a viable business. And the learnings that you're going to take away from today, hopefully you'll be able to put into your own business and make a difference to what you were trying to achieve, and building a business that is successful, which is profitable, and towards a business that you love, whether you do put staff on or not. We're all learning about how to maximize the profits with a lot of different activities that you're going to learn today as well. So I am joined with Sharon Jones. Hi, Sharon.
Hello.
So Sharon is a Pure Bookkeeping licensee, and for many years, and working with the system successfully. And actually, before I won't go into too much of the detail, because I'll let you, Sharon, tell your story, because it's an inspiring story for others to listen to. You coming into the industry, growing your business, and where you are now. And it's a lot of the understanding that you have right now, more so than the size of the business or the turnover of the business. It's about your understanding that you now have and that you now want to share with others. So thank you for taking the time to put this together and the things that you're going to share with us. If you'd like to introduce yourself, and we'll get started.
So I do want lots of interaction. So if you can put your cameras on, that would be amazing. Or at least just chat to us, because I've got the chat open. So my journey with Pure Bookkeeping was, I just love it, because I fell into bookkeeping. I want to stay at home and bring up my children. So I had already accidentally learnt bookkeeping in my job. And then it was right back, I don't know how many of you can put your hand up to 2008, 2009, going to 2010, and it's all about becoming BAS agents in Australia. Are we all in Australia, or are we?
Yeah, they're all
cool. So BAS agents, and I'm like, great. So I start doing my, oh yes, Victoria, we're still in the morning mode. So I literally had my second child. My work said, no, we don't want you for the hours that I said I could commit. And I went, right, I'll do bookkeeping. But all through TAFE, it was the resounding, you need to put systems in place. And I'm like, and I'm already working with clients, as you do by this stage, and learning with my feet on the ground. And it was, I'll never forget the time when I met Debbie and Peter down in Tasmania for was that their first tour, Katrina, around Australia, or second? Back in 2011.
Considering it was 2011,
Yeah.
Yeah, it might have been, it'll either the first or second, because I joined in 2011 too, and I don't feel as it's in the first round, so it could have been the second even.
I should have them with me. I literally carried the folders home in my arms and told my husband that I was redrawing on the mortgage to pay for Pure Bookkeeping. And and I was so excited because suddenly I felt like I had the tools to grow. And I even had the tools to be confident with my clients. So I literally sacked a client, said, no, you're not going to fit with this system, went on holidays and came back and took on one of my biggest clients even to this day, because they just continued to grow and grow and grow. And I did that with the confidence of knowing I had the system. Without the system, I wouldn't have had the confidence to step into that work or take on that client. So I did grow in Tasmania quite quickly, 2012, and that's what I'd peddled. Got the Pure Bookkeeping system. And then I moved, I pulled on a bookkeeper, moved over to Perth in 2013 and then started to grow my business here. So it's always been just that safety net, I would say, with Pure Bookkeeping, having that system in place. But, and I started working with Katrina in 2019. And by that stage, Katrina helped me bring on 2 more staff members. So I had 3 staff, and I suppose you could say a sizable practice, like 30 odd clients. I was always about, when you look at the Pure Bookkeeping, I don't know whether we should bring it up, the tiers that you can grow up to get to $1 million. I was more about how to do that without having a mental breakdown. So I would pull staff on earlier than later. But for me, the epiphany was, and that's where I want to take us today, was when I started to understand my actual numbers and started to step out of the business from a work. Because you pull on staff and you've got the system, but what I was doing was I thought, oh, I've got the staff for 2 days a week or a day a week. I've got to give them work for those times. And I wasn't looking at my numbers enough. And I'm like, oh, I'll just throw this work at them. And I hadn't even trained them in it and hadn't really fully engaged them with that client and the system. And so I want to show you what I did in 2020, good old 2020, don't we love that year? But it was a turning point for me with my business. And for those who don't, Paige, can you put the link up just for those who hadn't joined when the link had already gone into the chat? Is that possible to put that again for those who are here now? So I thought we'd take a step back. So what I want to encourage us to do is come out of busy. Just come out of busy and have a think about your business. First of all, can anyone just let me know how many of you work on your business first? Like Monday morning, invoice clients, or Friday afternoon, invoice clients, and know that your business has been looked after first? No? Anyone want to just try to give me a hand up? Okay, so I used to be the Friday night, Saturday morning trying to get my bookkeeping done so that I could get back to client work on Monday morning. Now, Monday morning, don't even bother contacting me, clients. I'm working on my books, especially Victoria, it's good. You can start out well. Pick a day that is your bookkeeping, no one else's, or even your marketing day. Like, this is my business time. That's it. Oh, perfect, Amanda. So I started looking at my numbers and started a system of making sure that I did my bookkeeping on certain days and still do that. So I just wondered how easy for those, Victoria, you're starting out. So I want you, there's the instant assessment in the comments, in the chat section that you can download. You may not want to do it today, but I want to show you how it works. I've plugged in the numbers. So literally, if you're at 100,000 revenue, oh, that's not working. You will need to fix the spreadsheet, girls, but you can do it because you're bookkeepers. Oh, here we go. And so, sorry, I'll start again. So I want you to put in here what your owner's pay is. So if your revenue is 100,000, now this is the trick. This is not tax. We're not working out how much tax we're going to pay. We're going to work out how much we're actually spending, paying us. Now, so if you don't have a dedicated bank account, or say you have a car in the business, but you actually don't really use the car in the business, but you can say that you go to the post office once a week and you can claim the car in the business. Let's put that expense, run your profit and loss, run your balance sheet, put those expenses, just cash. Don't look at what you should be getting in and what you're actually paying yourself. Look at your drawings account if that's how you pay yourself, and give a number here. So say if it's 50,000 a year, we're going to put 50,000 there in tax, in owner's pay. Now, if you're a sole trader and you're paying tax, just put that in here. If you're a company and you're paying tax, then that goes in here, and this is where it's up to you. You can decide how you want to look at your figures, but I encourage you to put how much you pay yourself in tax, or if you're a company here, and we're just going to put a figure. Okay. So let's go 10 grand for $50,000 worth of wages. And we're going to say, maybe I'm doing a quick math. So maybe we go $30,000 worth of expenses. So see what's happening with these percentages. What you need to know is what your actual percentages are at the moment. Cash in, cash out. So the money that's come in, maybe you run this for 12 months, for the last 12 months, but I encourage you just to sit after this webinar, pull your profit and loss because I'm sure you've got those ones done. Victoria, if you're starting out, put in the revenue you hope to make and start thinking about it backwards. We're going to go backwards in just a second. So what we're doing here is this is a scale of businesses in these revenue ranges, and this is the expected that you expect for operating expenses. Now, for me, I was up around the 60% here, because that included my staff wages. I don't put myself in here. I'm in here. I wasn't consistently paying myself. I was giving my staff more work than I should have. I had implemented the system, but I wasn't standing up above my business and making sure my bookkeepers were following the system. So fast forward from 2020 to 2023, last week I go for a conference, and now I have implemented the system. Now my bookkeeper and I have really, I make sure I don't do the client work so much. I'm training her to make sure she does it in the system, so that then I can go to Kylie. so that I can go to a conference and not even have to think about work for a couple of days. That's where you want to get to. And then you have the systems in place to scale. There's a little bit of, if you want to give me some where you're at. So Victoria says she's starting out. Who on here has already systems in place that are really working and supporting them? Okay, thanks, Kylie. Yep. And that's what I hear from a lot of bookkeepers, because I used to be a conference junkie before 2020. And yeah, so, and did anyone have like a TAFE teacher like mine, or a lecturer that's like, you're going to have to get some systems in place? Like, she was really, my TAFE teacher just drove that home all the time. And I just say, oh, that's just too hard. And this, again, it's pulling yourself up and looking at your numbers. So the first thing I want when you look at your numbers to ask is, how many clients owe you money? Do you have a large debtors? Because that's what you're going to do with going to establishing a bookkeeping day where you work on your business and you start, sorry, I was like, oh, someone else is coming in. Good morning. That's when you're going to follow up your debtors, because you want to know that you're going to be able to pay yourself. You want to know that you're going to be able to pay your staff. We as bookkeepers, we shouldn't have anyone owing us money, because the first system you're going to have in place, I'll just take this, stop the share for a second. The first system we're going to have in place is following up, making sure we have a good proposal in place. I got really stuck on the whole value pricing thing. Does everyone get that? Like, are you head around that? I mean, I decided, I think it was back in 2016, 17 that I was going to try out this value price or fixed pricing. Oh, perfect, Amanda. Yeah, so it was the Pure Bookkeeping system that I went back to, and I don't know whether, do we even have that old engagement letter sort of style, Katrina?
Yeah, to be very similar still. Yeah, with all the different services and
Yeah,
the different things you provide.
I had this like little epiphany of, that's how I should be quoting. And it was, it's based on what the client actually needs and what value, like I pulled it out to how many transactions. So I started to price better as well. So looking at your numbers this way will either show you that, do you have all your money coming in when it should do? Do you have a direct debit system? These are all things that, working through the Pure Bookkeeping system, you're going to put in place. And do you have a follow-up if you don't have people paying you, taking, like Amanda's taking the payment up front? Like, that is fantastic. And are you doing like a follow-up on the work, like a post-mortem on rescue work? You know, did you make money from that rescue work? Do we know, ready to scale, how much we would be paying an employee? Are we going to take employees in Australia? Or are we going to take employees from, I know, Amanda, it's when you like sit with it, it's like, oh, darn, I lost so much. Or you're halfway through the rescue work and you're like, no, I'm just going to forge through here and just put this one down to learning.
Or you actually invoice at the end of a rescue job and they don't appreciate all of the work that you've done,
I know.
pay you that, and then that's where the debt collection comes into it. It's just that
No, I'm sorry. I've decided I want clients now who are even just going to thank me. Like, my client paid me for the last one and it didn't blow out. It's just a thank you would have been nice. Appreciate that. Yep, job's done. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, quoting, a really good proposal in place. These are all things, these are your base systems you want to have in place so that you can look after your clients well. And then moving on, it's still, Pure Bookkeeping is still my safety net. And do we even go into Pure Workflow? That was a game changer for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
it just makes it a whole lot easier to streamline and understand.
yeah, so
Work.
how many here are using ClickUp or Carbon?
Or nothing.
Or nothing? Emails.
Very common.
Asana, yes. Yeah. And Victoria, that's perfectly fine when you're starting out. It's good that you've got a nice little system happening already. I used Carbon. I really wasn't making any money with my 3 staff, paying like $50 each for Carbon and me not really using it properly. So what I encourage you is you need to use your systems first. You need to be grounded in them first, is what I found. So fast forward to Pure Workflow back, when was that? 21, wasn't it? The end
22.
of 21.
Yeah, February the 22nd.
Oh yes,
February,
yes. So
22nd.
I was excited because I got to beta test. So yeah, and that's been so good because you don't have to think about the checklists and you've got them all at your fingertips, your staff with it. But I have to say the biggest thing is come out of busy. If you're starting out, set that day aside that you just work on your business, come out of busy, get away from the desk if you have to just think about what you need to do and organize your time to work out what you need to do to organize your practice. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It is finding that time to work on your business. And a lot of people think that they've got to forego money, hours charged to actually work on your business, where it's actually a detriment if you don't spend time working on your business, even though you think you're going to lose, I don't know, $300 for not charging out for that time. You're actually going to lose a whole lot more if you don't spend the time on your business to be able to build it for the future and put the systems in place and work out where your business is going rather than the business leading you along.
Exactly. And the main one of the things around busy is you get caught in that trap. I'm going to go there with those really bad clients. Like a lot of your busy is 20% of your really bad clients. So even if you just took a day and you went through your client list and went, these ones, like you see the call come in or you see the email come in and you're just like, I don't want to take it. I don't want to look at it. That client, have a look at them today. Because like really, they're probably your most unprofitable client. Even run the numbers on them. That's the other thing. A good time app. We do have that with Pure Workflow. Some people are using it still, aren't they? The time app. I still use QuickBooks Time just because that's what we've often used, but have some sort of, even though we're value pricing, we still need to keep track of how many hours it's taking us on certain things, just to be able to do that double check. And I can assure you that client is probably your most unprofitable client. It feels good to be busy sometimes, but those ones you can afford to let go. So make a list of your 20%, like the 20% of clients, well, it's probably 80% of clients that you don't enjoy working with. Like you literally just cringe when you see their email or you see their number come up on your phone. Make a list and start to think about how you can either work with them better. How do you need to put them in the system? And that's why I sacked a client when I first took on the system, because I'm like, no, it's not going to work with you. You're not going to come in. And interestingly, the client that I did, forge ahead and come back from my holiday and take on, it was the system that saved me in that instant, because they weren't paying their super. So I was like literally sitting with Debbie a year later going, I've just found out they're not paying their super. What do I do? And she's like, you send them the email and you send them this. And I was, do you remember the old checklist, Katrina, that you sent your client at the, they were so good. And so every time I sent them an invoice, I was sending them a checklist, and it was in red what super they hadn't paid. That was part of, they were so good, those checklists. Anyway, so it was the system that I knew that had me, but I had a really dodgy client. And so it's sitting with that and saying, can I afford to keep them? How much time are they taking? I could just go sit on the beach and come back and do 2 hours work. And probably it might be more rewarding with the right client than one that you're doing 50 hours a week with the wrong client.
And it is a fear factor as well to let go clients, because that's not in our nature, is to sack clients. We just want to keep working for them and doing the best we can and hoping that they're going to change or that we're going to change them. And they're continually taking up a lot of our time, and they just drain our energy as well. So it's taking the strength in that you can get rid of clients that don't work for you, that aren't good, they don't value you, they don't pay you, and they just expect a whole lot of time from you. And it's wasting your time, because you're not charging all of those hours either. So they're actually, you're probably less profitable having those clients than you are getting rid of those clients. We can guarantee you are. So taking the leap of faith and getting rid of those bad clients, putting strategies in place to replace them. But it always works that way. You get rid of one bad client and 2 good clients walk through the door the next day.
Yep.
And guarantee it's going to happen.
At least you become clear on what a good client is. So once you start to get clear on what a good client is and who you like to work with, then you'll actually start to look for those clients rather than letting these bad ones come in and sap your time and energy.
And this is how the profitability increases as well. This is all part of maximizing your profitability by doing those activities. Because in 6 months' time, a better client's coming in that is more profitable and that does value you.
So I've actually descaled my business, ready to scale. So 20% of your clients will be paying you 80% of your revenue. Okay. 80% of your clients are not as profitable as you think. So the question is, how do you make them better clients? Or what do you know? If you're in BAS period, then you don't just go out and sack them right now. I'm not saying that. But start to think about it and start to put a strategy in place and think about what you want from your business. Because if you're enjoying working with your clients, then they'll enjoy working with you. and it's not a guru moment, and you will be profitable from that, because they'll actually want to pay you more when you say, oh, by the way, we need to increase your fees because of this and this and this. And that's the other thing working with a solid system will do, is help you keep track of that. Because one of our biggest things is scope creep. And we just want to do everything for nothing. Because we're bookkeepers and we're really nice and we just want you to love me. But no, we're going to stop being busy. My new word is full. My life is full. If I want to do something else, I need to take something out, ready to put it in.
So beautiful. I haven't heard that before. I love that.
Empty, pour me out, pour it out, get rid of it, and then you can replace it with something you actually enjoy. And that's what I encourage you to do. Like, if you have a profitable bookkeeping business and you're focusing on having a profitable bookkeeping business instead of just doing all this work, scuttling around, jumping on the treadmill every morning just because you have to, because you've got all those clients demanding you, you've got your family demanding stuff from you, you've got everything going on, and you're just going from one thing to the next. This is the moment where you stop and you think, what do I need to put in place so that my business can be here? And maybe it's not, how many bookkeepers do you see working on Saturdays and Sundays? And maybe they want to, I don't know, maybe that's their lifestyle. But if you're working Saturdays and Sundays just to keep up with the work, then maybe it is time for staff. But are you ready for staff? Because if you haven't got the system in place to be able to work with staff, then you're just going to be like me, picking up the pieces from them all the time and going back over their work. Whereas now I hardly have to look at, my bookkeeper got I think about 4 BASs ready for me to review today, this week, and send out. So she's charging for it, and I'm sitting here on a webinar. But that's the beauty of having staff trained well and systems in place. And then you can have a weekend. Is that what your goal is? Do you want a weekend? Because that's what a profitable business will give you.
What are some of the strategies that you put in place before you put a staff on? I remember you talking about your bank account and
so going back to the instant assessment, if you're at that stage of wanting to put on a staff member, you might just want to start with opening a staff bank account. You might need, so we looked at your pricing, review your debtors. Are you looking after your own bookkeeping? Are you following up with clients in a good time with your own bookkeeping? And then you're going to need to do an expense analysis. What subscriptions are you paying out that you could possibly stop paying? Because we love, don't we? There's an app for that. There's an app for everything. But if we sit down with our numbers, it might not be today, it might be your Friday, it might be Monday next week. Sit down and have a look through, because if that percentage is really high on your instant assessment, if that's more than what it's saying, so if it's more than 30, if it's 40, 50%, then you might need to have a look at what are you paying for. And it might be, if you have staff that you're actually paying, that's what's driving your percentage up. And that can be a choice. But the question is, are you then pricing the work properly for a staff member as well? So the first thing, Katrina worked really hard on this with me, and I use it still, working out what staff, what level of staff to put on what level of bookkeeping. Like even pull out what you do for clients as to what's data entry, what's high set, level 2, what's level 3. Those parts of it are really helpful to know as well. And then start to plan out what work to give the staff. So that's where you need to you need to be working the system first. Victoria, you're in such a good place of starting out because you can just be like me and do it from the get-go. And once you become grounded in a system, then you're ready to take staff and you can start to put the money away for that staff member in a staff wages bank account. So I would be starting there with a staff wages bank account and start putting money away.
And the same, I used to do the same for GST, like GST and tax. Make sure that you've put the money aside for that, because at the end of the year, whenever you need to pay it, you never have enough money. So it's checking in with yourself that you are profitable to be able to, run this business. Like there's no point running a business that is not profitable, that is not paying its wages, not paying its taxes, and when I say not paying its wages, not paying yourself a wage. There's no point in being in business if you can't pay yourself a wage. That was one of the things that my mentor had taught me, is that you don't just get the leftover money. You have to say, what is your salary for the year? Your business has to be able to perform well enough to pay you a wage, and treat it as a wage. Don't just have it as the net profit at the bottom of the line of the sole trader. Put it in an expense account as a wage, as a line item, and prove the business is profitable after your wage as well.
And think about super. Like, don't think about the whole thing as if you're an employee.
Mm-hmm. That's often forgotten, isn't it? That owners, sole traders, they don't have the superannuation, so they're not as well off as a business owner if you're not paying a superannuation and investment.
Exactly. And so one of the traps I found was, my husband works, he's a fitter machinist and he's always had good jobs. So he's the main main breadwinner, you could say. And so I could afford to get away when I had fudgy clients, or I was overpaying my bookkeepers, or I wasn't working the business well. I could afford that because we could sort of rely, but you might not be in that position. But even if you are, it's a serious business. Like, take your business seriously. And if you've got clients with businesses, if you take your business seriously, they'll take your business seriously, and you can encourage them to do the same with theirs. Does that make sense? Like, we're not in it just to feel good about ourselves, because you're not, at the end of the day, you're just going to be pulled from pillar to post and go into the mire of serving everyone.
Yeah, and if you don't feel appreciated in your own business, you're not going to love it. The resentment's going to come in. So it's really important right from the get-go is to value your own, portion of what you're contributing to the business, and making sure that you are rewarded for that as well.
So the next question is, what do you actually need? This is where we work it backwards, okay, as to how many clients you need and how much do you need in your personal life to support you from the business. Now, maybe you're not the main, maybe you do have someone else who's, working full time. Maybe you are in that place where you still have small children to look after. So it's not going to be your main winning exercise, and that's okay. I started my business because I wanted to put my children through private schooling, and my husband said, well, you'll have to work for that. And guess what? I've now achieved that goal. My second son has just graduated and I'm done. And
you can retire.
and I can retire. I'm finished. But in that, I found joy in what I did because I eased off. Like Katrina can tell you what a mess I was in 2019. And she can tell you that the fact that I can sit here today is not because I've got masses of clients. That's what I really want to get at. It's not about masses of clients. It's about having all the things in place and you focusing on a profitable business. So the first question is, what do you need to pay yourself? What do you in your personal life actually need the business to pay you? And then start. So Victoria, you're just starting out. So what's that figure? And so the next part of the exercise, you can go and make all of those different categories of revenue, profit, owner's pay, tax, operating expenses, different bank accounts. So you can put your pay more than what you need into that bank account and then start to have a buffer. So you can have a holiday and the money's there. You can know that you can sack that client and you'll still pay yourself next week. Yes? So start to, and this is something you can do with your clients as well. Like this is where you start to move from being just doing compliance work to talking with your clients on this level. So if you do this in your business, this is where you can actually move into advisory space. Not that I like that. I hate that word, but yeah, good on you, Amanda. That is a little bit of what we're doing. But coming back to it's having the system behind you. It's using a methodology of knowing your numbers, working with in that of knowing how much you need to take from the business to then, well, what do I need to do? Do I need to scale right now? That's the question. Do I need to scale right now? Or do I just need to make some space to start putting these systems in place to grow my business? It's not about going like the clappers, working 24/7, running yourself into the ground and hoping that you're going to have a great business that you can then sell and go sit on the beach. What I'm encouraging you to do today is really go back to your numbers, have a think about personal life. What do you need from your business? Start to work it that way backwards. How many clients will it take? What sort of work do you want to do with the clients? What do you enjoy? Do you enjoy training staff? Do you like working with people? Do you want to stay a sole trader? Or do you want to build to a staff of 10? One of my business goals became that I wanted to see women empowered like I had been to be able to have a skill that I could work from home, still be here for my children, but earning an income at the same time and enjoying that on the side. And that became, I wanted to give back to women that way. So now that my other why has finished, now I get to concentrate on that. So now I've had two women approach me. And what's really interesting is they're with my, what would you say, my niche, what the ones that I really want, the clients that I want to work with, that's their background, like mine. And I'm going, oh, cool. We get to work together and I can start marketing to that particular client. And now I'm looking at it from a totally different lens. So know your numbers, know what you need to live from, and start designing your business around that with the systems that in place that will help you move there. As I said to Katrina yesterday, I've designed a business that works. It works around my lifestyle. I don't work around my business now. So it's fun. It's literally fun, but
it's been a process. It's been a learning curve, and it's been at a starting point, moving along, making mistakes, and that's why you're, qualified to, talk to it now and hopefully help others fast track or get to the right place rather than going through all of the mistakes and learning curve that you've been through. And that's what, Debbie Roberts is always put through with the Pure Bookkeeping system. Rather than going through all of our mistakes, put the systems in place to avoid all the mistakes. And you're exactly the same conversation. Is like, this is where this is my journey, this is where I've traveled, this is the mistakes I've made, because you weren't profitable when we got together. And it's the the percent, the staffing and the right staff, where to put them, all of those processes to all come out to the right outcome now. So we're all coming towards a profitable business that you love to work, that you can just have the lifestyle, like the business matches your lifestyle.
Yeah, it does, because there's a whole lot too, Sharon, that a lot of people don't know.
Which is awesome. Does anyone have any questions at all, or would like to pose a quandary where you are at the moment, wherever you're haven't heard from anyone where they are at the moment? Are they in growth? I know Victoria's in startup. Amanda, you seem to have some systems in place. Is there anything that you're struggling with at the moment? You're welcome to come off mute and perhaps tell where you are at the moment, if you'd like to share.
Yeah, thank you. So I've been in business now about 3 years. So I'm probably, and I've been keeping quite steady, and I'm a single mum to one child. So the lifestyle aspect has been really important to me, which what I designed my whole business around, even just when I started it. And obviously the wage, I am the breadwinner. So I've really worked hard to have it set up in that way. And I guess I'm sort of looking at the scale aspect of going, I don't want to work anymore right now, but I need more revenue to afford to bring on somebody else. Yep. So I'm in that sort of conundrum now where I go, well, what do I do? How do I do that next step, basically, to increase my own wages, but also scale so that I can, because I really want to move into coaching.
Right.
So basically, that's all the things you've been talking about. It's this kind of thing that I love doing with my clients. So we go through that. How much do you want to work? How much do you need to earn? How do we price it? Like, I go through that whole process with them. And that's the part that I really love. So I want to get to a point where I can step out of doing the do, and I can do more of the coaching and bringing somebody on.
And you don't want to leave the bookkeeping though? You want to keep the bookkeeping?
No, because I think it's still worth having it like in-house.
Yeah, I know. I just can't imagine not, like, even though I'm working with clients on that level, it just feels so fitting to still be able to offer that service, doesn't it?
Yes.
And I mean, know that the numbers are right.
License.
We're control freaks. We want to know the numbers are right.
Yes.
So there's there's a lot of bookkeepers out there who just want to work with someone like yourself. Like, they don't want to go and start their own bookkeeping business.
Yes.
Which is great. I get approached with resumes, or I'm happy to share resumes. I get approached, I reckon, maybe one every month, every couple of months, I'll get a resume. Yeah. So my website's working for bookkeepers to come work with me. So really good.
I did have an employee for a while, and obviously I don't. The discussion was she was to help me build the systems. as well. So like the
Okay.
documentation of processes and all of that. And it didn't end up working out. The level of mistakes coming through by the end were just horrendous. Yeah, so obviously I know I need to do more groundwork before I took anybody else on again. But yeah, it's that profitability that obviously I need to be able to pay myself what I need to survive.
Yes.
Whilst looking at that next step.
And it's important, to go through to ensure the systems are in place to be able to hand the work over to guarantee the work, and then understanding what clients that you would hand over. And this is what I stepped through with Sharon and any of the mentees, understanding the clients that you've got, what work you can hand over to a staff member that you perhaps don't want to do, and then what level of staff member you need to be able to perform that work. Because you might have, if you had 50 clients, you don't want to hand over 50 clients to a new staff member. It is identifying the parcels of work that you're going to hand over and then start to systemize that particular work, like really drilling down on what needs to be done and how they do it. And then you start become clearer about what type of staff member, excuse me, what type of staff member that you do need to perform that, whether it's a level 1, level 2, might be 2 people. So you might be looking at putting 2 part-time people on, depending. And then in relation to the profitability, you can always guarantee as soon as you take work off yourself, give it to somebody else, you're still making a margin on that work anyway. You're going to free up your time to either improve systems and create efficiencies in your own business and find other work and move into the coaching that is worth a whole lot more than what you are receiving in your chargeable hours right now.
Yeah.
So it's releasing that time, because it's all about time. It's all about finding we've certainly only got a certain amount of time in a day and energy. So what is the work that you want to perform in that? And the energy is a really, important thing too, because when I was growing and I had a mentor, I just kept putting, like, clients were coming to me. So I was putting more and more clients on. I had a couple of staff, but I was still in control of everything. Like, I wanted to make sure every piece of work that went through the business came through me. And it's that mindset of trusting the staff, because you've skills test them, and the system is going to provide you with the confidence that the work is going to get done correctly. So it's not just putting more clients on and more staff on, and just keeping yourself busy. It is making sure that you have the system in place to be able to put that whole parcel of work over and know that it is protected over there with whatever staff is doing it.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's the mental load.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So I would say systematize yourself first.
Yeah.
Because that's where I fell down, and because I'd been using it from the get-go, it was all in my head. So I took Debbie's system that was to be out of her head to be able to give to others. And I was just like, oh, yes, I know. And I go on automatic pilot. But I wasn't thinking about the fact that I needed to still check off my checklists so that my bookkeepers could see where I was at as well. And with Pure Workflow, it's great because an email will come in and I'll be like, oh yeah, I need to add that to their workload today. So I'll create a task in that and assign it. And so, get everything as much as possible out of your head.
Yeah.
And start that bank account for your staff member. Even if it's and that's where it's going to come back to knowing even how much to charge, because honestly, I'm going to I'm going to be really honest. It's going to cost you about $50 an hour by the time you do all what you need to pay them.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
And
about.
often we're not even paying ourselves $50 an hour. So how, and to do that, to then also make a margin on top, I want everyone to take a deep breath. The amount you need to, if you were doing an hourly rate, what you need to come back to, maybe actually sitting around $90 an hour. And you're like going, oh my goodness, I've just entered and I'm just.
Well, my rescue work, I charge 120.
Exactly. So, and you need to, you have the need to have the margins, but, you know, and don't think, oh, I'll just get someone from overseas and I'll pay them less and then I'll increase my margin. No, because that might take more training on your part. So, that's fine. I met someone last week and he's got a whole team in the Philippines and he's visiting them at the moment. And I'm like, I love the model. I love the model, but it's not about being able to do the work for cheaper. It's about having really good systems and having a really good, providing a really good service that the clients just don't even question what you're charging them. And maybe the bookkeeping work is a little bit less. And that's okay too, because if you're charging your coaching work, then that's going to be more.
Yeah.
But if you're not even paying yourself $50 an hour at the moment and the margin's not there to pay someone that 50 and you, because don't forget you need some for operating expenses, for subscriptions, etc., then that's where you're going to have to work it backwards.
Yeah.
Check your hourly rate, as in check your work, how many hours are for clients. And as Katrina said, then, you know, maybe you just bring someone on for that data entry work and you keep the higher work for now, but start that bank account to put their wages away.
Yeah.
Have you put the different bank accounts in place for yourself?
Yeah, I've got the profit
Right.
account, I've got the wages, I've got the tax, I've got all of that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
But systems, you need time to get the system, yourself in the system.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that takes a lot of time, and there's the opportunity cost on that as well. Don't reinvent the wheel.
Yes.
So if you'd like to have a chat after this, we could.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be worthwhile showing you what the system will replace for you.
Yes.
Save you some time. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah,
Awesome.
that'd be great. Thank you.
Thank you.
But it is evolving as well, which I love. But it just means that you just always need to make sure you're taking time to work on your business. So it's not like it's a set and forget.
Yes.
Yeah.
Whether it's you're working on systems or you might be working on marketing. Yeah, forge yourself a plan. I mean, we're coming up to the end of the year. Just plan it. I encourage you to plan it out. Like, look at the numbers. Look at what your numbers are saying. Where are your percentages sitting? What do you need to work on? If you need to work on paying yourself more, it's probably your charge rate that's not right. What you're charging your clients.
I just upped all my rates anyway.
Good on you.
Perfect.
If your expenses are really high, then you might need to do a really, really hard expense analysis on your, like, what are you paying for that you really don't need? And I don't think your tax will be high if you're not paying yourself enough. But then you're looking at what systems do I need to put in place to support growth? And then what marketing do I need to do as well? And that's where the Pure Bookkeeping system is so well-rounded. Like, it'll help you with your pricing, it'll help you with your marketing, and it'll help you with the systems to to have your staff work with you as well.
Exactly. Awesome. We are at the top of the hour, but was there any last questions from anyone that's very silent in the group? No, nobody wants to come off mute. Victoria, all good. Kylie, thank you. Thank you. I hope this was helpful. Let me know what what's the one thing that you got out of today. What was your big thing or favourite thing you got out of today? What was that one learning you received? Or one of the big learnings you've received today? Just pop it into the chat. And I'll just wait for a few of those comments. But thank you so much, Sharon, for your learnings today. I mean, it was really, really insightful and inspiring on listening to other people's journey and for you to be able to give back. And, you know, you've learned so much, you've gone so far to be able to then, you know, provide others with you know, your it's not really a skill, is it? It's just your experiences and your
and that's it's that thing of what I would love to tell my younger self.
Yeah.
I'm starting life again at 48. It's great.
Fantastic. That's awesome. Yeah. Good. All right. Well, thanks again, Sharon, and thank you everyone for joining us today. And I hope that was useful. And I'll reach out, Amanda, and we'll have a chat. Anyone else, just let us know as well. Okay. Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye. Bye for now.